Player ratings right about now. Some good performances, people. We've had very, very, very good performances. I think the only poor performance we've had is Aubameyang missing a penalty, and for me, that doesn't take away the hard work. That really doesn't take away what he's done. So we're gonna try to dive into the player ratings with Glenn. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Vote with us. Some of you have already voted in the match reaction, but you could do it again. Vote with us. The player ratings 10 being the maximum and 0 being the least or minimum you could actually give a player. Right. So Glenn, let's start off with Aaron Ramsdale. Not much work to do today, actually, but he almost cost us a goal with I think it was kind of miscommunication. Do you think, apart from playing that ball from the back, which I think he's becoming more comfortable with, do you think he deserves more than a 7? Or
no, spot on. I'm going to give him a 7. I think that's the first mistake he's made in an Arsenal shirt. I was like, oh no, what is he doing here? He could have cost us a goal. I mean, you can't do that against Salah and Mane next game against Liverpool. They'll score. So we were very lucky we were up against Josh King. I know he scored a hat-trick, but he's not the most quality of strikers. He's going to get a 7, only had a couple of saves. He gets an extra point for the kit. I love that kit. He was wearing that blue kit. He gets an extra point for that. And also, there were only 2 times he had to make a save. He was screaming at the defenders, why are you letting them shoot? I think he dealt with the aerial balls as well. In the last 15 minutes, they were just crossing the ball. And I loved how he just handled the ball and just wasted time. I love that. So I'm going to give him a 7. Not his best performance in an Arsenal shirt. In fact, you can even argue is one of his worst because he made an error, but 7 out of 10.
With a clean sheet. And that is how good it is. Not the best performance with a clean sheet, though.
Yeah, clean sheet, absolutely. Another one. Another clean sheet yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. So 7 for Aaron Ramsdale. I cannot disagree with that. Tomiyasu, one of those players that I thought had a job to do, either against Ismail Sarr or Emmanuel Dennis, 2 of their most pressing and difficult players. But I think he really did a good job as well, and he's so good at containing players. That's one of the things I've actually learned about Tomiyasu. How impressed were you with his performance, and how much would you actually award him?
Again, very, very good performance yet again, keeping those wingers quiet. Dennis and Sarr keeping them quiet. They were a bit rotating here and there, left and right. He was intercepting the ball just like Niles in midfield very, very well. He was pushing forward. He was crossing the ball. There's a through pass he gave to Saka that created one of the chances. Very, very good one-touch pass straight through to Saka. He also has that quality of picking out a pass, which is very good. Again, we've seen him perform better in an Arsenal shirt, but a clean sheet. Again, keeping those players quiet, another 7 there for Tomiyasu.
Yeah, another 7. I think he actually does well. My only problem with him is that he needs to start coming back, coming in front better,
more,
bringing in those quality deliveries. But I think he's doing well for a player that is doing his debuts in the Premier League, debut season. Everything to him is like a debut. I think he's really, really doing well. You could just give him, you could just let him be whatever kind of performance he puts in, as long as it doesn't cost the team points. 7 for me also goes well. Counterpart Nuno Tavares, adventurous, loves going forward. We've seen that again today. He was caught. I think he was actually caught up a little bit. Especially in the last 15 minutes of the game, we saw. I did see Watford trying to expose him, but apart from that, I think he fairly had a balanced game. He fairly had a good game as well. Would you actually rate him much more than Tomiyasu today?
Yeah. I asked you before the game if you'd bring back Tierney or Tavares against Liverpool. The reason why if it was Kolasinac, you wouldn't have been asking that question. It would have been like, thank goodness Tierney is back. The reason we're asking that question is because he has been very good. Tavares has been very, very good. I do understand what you mean. In the last 10 minutes, they're just crossing the ball from that side, but there's only much you can do when they're attacking you 3 or 4 players on that side. I think he did very well. Again, bombing forward. I love his going forward more than Tomiyasu as well. A couple of times he was intercepting balls. He's not afraid to take a shot. Again, dealing with Sarr in that position, not easy at all. Those guys, they usually score goals. They're not like a Norwich, no disrespect to Norwich, but they're not like Norwich. They scored 5 goals before in the game. They scored 3 already this season. So they're not afraid of attacking. Tavares, I know, and Tomiyasu, both of them are new from different countries. They just came in from different countries. But I think Tavares did stand out more. So I'm actually going to give Tavares, it was going to be a 7, but they kept a clean sheet, an extra point, 8 for him.
Yeah, 8. I agree. I just love the way he flanks forward. It's like a flash. He reacts very, very well, especially when we're going forward. And I think we have a very, very good player in there. Despite the fact that you've already said that we won't have the debates of Tierney or Nuno Tavares, but as Arsenal fans, I already know what's going to happen. I think the Leno Martinez debate this time is going to be about Tavares and Tierney. It's going to be very, very hectic. I hope we don't get it wrong this time. The back line, let's just handle them together. I think they had a very, very good game. I think Gabriel is becoming more solid. He has given up his part of the game where he comes a little bit forward and tries to create adventures. He's given up that because Ben White loves and does it better, I think. He's become the more calm centre back, the more game reader. He's no longer the sweeper he was under David Lowe. And I think Ben White, credit to him, the goal we scored today, he has a hand in it, doesn't he? He has a hand in it. So how do you rate the pairing?
I mean, so I usually look at everything in the game, like everything. I'm not sure. I don't know how many people look at everything because it's so easy to say 9 for both of them because they kept a clean sheet. So one of the other reasons why I gave Tavares an 8 and Tomiyasu a 7. Tomiyasu did pick up a yellow card, Tavares didn't. So I look at everything in the game. Was it a good yellow card to pick? I look at everything. Same applies to Gabriel and Ben White. Gabriel did pick up a yellow card. I thought it was a silly yellow card, a silly free kick to give out in the 80th minute. Just clear the ball. He was trying to control it in his own area. Like if they nick the ball there, they're in 3 against Ramsdale. So
on a crazy day, that could be a red card because something crazy. VAR does something crazy. It's a high boot and things like that.
Absolutely. And then Ben White pushing forward, the way he's pushing forward, he made a run in the first half. He won us a free kick. There's a pass he gave. In the second half, as I said, it could have been his assist for the Smith Rowe goal. Is the one who's pushing forward past 3 or 4 players. Gabriel did have a header on target from a corner. Gabriel did block a ball. Ben White did block one ball as well. For that yellow card and the way Ben White was also very, very important in terms of pushing us forward. Gabriel, just like Tomiyasu, gets a 7, and Ben White, just like Tavares, gets an 8.
Yeah, definitely. I think I loved Ben more because it's just one of the centre backs that try to help out the team coming forward and trying to it's one way for you to collect ideas that maybe our midfielders are not doing it. Then suddenly your defenders try to create something. It's really, really lovely. So let's move to the midfield where we have Ainsley, man of the game. I'm giving him a 10. Ainsley Matanao is very, very good. I think stepping in for Partey, like we said, and then you perform like that. There is no way you're not giving him a good grade.
I mean, I know what you're saying. Obviously, it's not going to be a 10. I mean, if he scored and assisted, it would have been a 10. Stepping up for Partey is not easy at all. Those interceptions are very important. He was very good. Obviously, the last 15 minutes, our team almost fell apart a bit. Like we are allowing Sissoko a lot of the ball. We allow the Kuchka guy or something from Watford the ball a lot. And so the reason I'm not giving him a 10 or 9, I'm going to give him an 8. The reason I'm going to give him an 8 is because I noticed so many times. There's a time Aubameyang was pushing forward, wanted a through pass, but you can see Niles cannot pick out that pass. I noticed it a couple of times. I'm like screaming, give the through pass to Smith Rowe, give the through pass to Aubameyang. Prefers to pass it sideways or just forward the easy pass. Again, obviously, aerial balls is a bit of a weakness in midfield with Sissoko there. But that's the only fault I can give him, as in he doesn't pass the ball forward like Partey. So very, very good performance. It's an 8, but it's an 8 going to an 8.5. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, he had a very, very good performance, by the way. He had a very, very good game. Then you had Smith Rowe, again, partner in crime. Smith Rowe scoring that goal. I mean, I find myself running out of words to explain this boy because it's becoming better and better since that Boxing Day last year. So, Smith, how many?
He scored the goal. Again, another very, very good performance. I'm going to also give him an 8, but it's an 8 that is an 8, and Niles is 8.5. Yeah. So again, another very good performance. Every time he has the ball, things happen. Scored us the winning goal, very important, as you said. He scored against Leicester, scored against Aston Villa, against Palace. I don't remember who scored. Is it Lacazette and Aubameyang? I think so. Yeah, he scored 3 games in a row. He's the first name on the team sheet these days. He's saving us. He's basically saving us. I like how he can play as the left winger. He comes back. He can go drop in as the number 10. He can come into midfield. Another 8 for Smith Rowe, definitely.
Yeah, another 8. Abasambi Lokonga, my CDM, my player. I think for me, is one of the people who are born to do something. If there was someone who is born to do something, is Abasambi Lokonga. I just love the way he plays in that position. It's like he's been playing there for 10 years. And probably he could be playing there for 10 years because of the academy and things like that. But his composure, how come he is, the rate at which he makes his tackles, the speed, the discipline, and now he's one player that, for me, I said this in my match reaction, he reminds me of Alexander Sombelong. Those kind of players that just, they just do their thing and then just get some little time to do something extra. I think he's one of those players. I still remember when Morgan Schneiderlin was at Southampton, you could see what everybody else does, but you forget Morgan Schneiderlin. We could forget Abasambi Lokonga, but he really does a lot of work in that midfield, especially giving the license to the rest of the players to go up front and do their thing. So Lokonga, I'm gonna be the first person to rate him, and I'm gonna give him a 7. I'm gonna give him a 7. It's so brave, and it's one of the things I really love about him. But how would you rate him, Albert?
I agree. So in my match reaction, about like 4 or 5 people commented and said he was the worst player on the pitch, and I was like, did I watch the same game? I was even afraid of giving him a rating. I was planning to give him a 7, but people are saying he was the worst player. But I have to watch that game again, but I do not think he was the worst player. I saw him again, just like Niles, intercepting balls, picking out passes. He's taking shots. He's not afraid to take shots. I saw like 4 shots from him early in the second half, late on in the second half. If it wasn't for the cycling GK performing, having the best performance of his Premier League career so far this season, he would have been... it would have been 2 goals for Lokonga. It would have been 2 goals for Lokonga. So obviously,
that was a powerful shot in the second half.
Yeah, and then also losing balls a couple of times, that's fine. I mean, it's not as bad as the way they lost the ball against Crystal Palace, and also not having Partey next to him. He had Niles next to him today, so I have to give him a 7. Obviously, there are a couple of players who are better than him, but I don't think it was anything less than a 7. Watford had 3 midfielders in the midfield against 2 of ours, and you asked me about the midfield battle, and I think they handled it well, him and Niles.
Yeah, absolutely. Saka on the right. I think this time, unlike the last 2 games, Saka was a little bit lively. Not a little bit lively, because he had 55 touches today. He had 55 touches. Actually, if you take away the touches, he's one of those players that created the spark in that game. Very, very, very lively, and unlucky to score a goal where there is a Watford player in front of him, and then it's ruled out of as offside. I was fuming until I got to know the rule. I'm still fuming. Some rules do not actually make sense. They don't make sense for me. But Saka today improved. I think it's
absolutely. Did you see that? Absolutely. I always see the same. It always feels like every time you have the ball, we give him the ball, because it feels like he's the one who's going to make something happen. And as you said, he scored in the first half. They didn't count it, but for us, we counted it. So that's the goal for Saka. In the second half as well, he was getting involved. He tried some through passes for Aubameyang and Lacazette, but it was just Aubameyang was missing a couple of them. Lacazette missed a couple of them. He always tries something positive, not passing back to Lokonga. Niles is trying something forward. And I didn't see him maybe taking a lot of shots today. Another thing is I like his corners as well with Smith Rowe. They've improved on their corners. Their corner kicks are better. I think he's the one who crossed the ball for Gabriel to head it in again. Foster saving it again. I'm going to give Saka 7 for today. Obviously, no assist or a goal, but again, a 7 performance, a strong performance, 7.
Yeah, it was a very, very strong performance. I think he's one of those players that I've really hard to keep down in the game. Very, very hard. I just looked at Watford struggling to keep him down. You know, one-on-one, running into space, and I'm like, look, you're gonna have a long night if you've let Saka do this, do his thing. Like I said, today,
I don't know how Danny Rose didn't pick up a yellow card because he fouled him so many times.
4 fouls. He doesn't pick up a yellow card, and each time an Arsenal player, actually made a foul, we picked up a yellow card. I really don't want to dive into referees, especially in my match reactions, because it makes me look like a weak fan. But that guy there was abysmal. That was abysmal. Should have been
very bad. Should have been off really. So I'm giving Rose a hard time. Very good. So 7 for Saka.
Yeah, absolutely. Because okay, like I said, I think his thing is playing as a 10 is actually working out, and Odegaard has to wait for at least some few games or months to start playing where Lacazette plays. But Lacazette's really playing, providing good support to the team, and also providing very, very good support to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang is actually better with Lacazette next to him. So Lacazette today, no goal, no assist, but absolutely very, very, very strong. Would you give him the same rating as Saka, probably?
Yeah, should have had an assist. If Aubameyang didn't miss the penalty. He won us the penalty, crucial time in the first half, right before halftime. Could have had a goal if he's the one who took the penalty. And like how, I think when Lacazette is there, I think Saka, Smith and Aubameyang, as you said, get more energy there. They feel like, everyone has more energy. He seems to control a lot of things there. Also that goal where Saka scored, I like the confidence where he tried to chip the goalkeeper. He always wins fouls for us, a couple of free kicks and stuff like that. Yes, didn't score, didn't even get a chance really. Didn't even really have a chance or anything like that. These days I don't see him getting frustrated when he gets subbed off. He does his job, gets subbed off. I've been happy with him. I think Saka was better than him.
Yeah, definitely.
So and I think he got subbed off in the 60th, 68th minute for Odegaard. I'm sorry for anyone who wants to give him high, but I don't think I can give him a Saka. I think he did what he had to do, but it was a bit of a quiet performance as well. So I'm actually going to give him a 6, unfortunately, because I can't give him this.
6 is not really bad. 6 is not really bad. I think some of the players in that team, like we said, like I said, you have Lokonga. Much of their work is to hold the support system strong, and as long as they do that, we are good to go. Then Aubameyang misses a penalty, and actually is the reason as why VAR crosses Odegaard's goal. Oh my God, Odegaard must be fuming there. It's like, dude, you're offside. Don't even try to step into my goal. What are you trying to do? But I think it is instinctive as a striker. In that range, it's just instinctive. He wants to hold back, maybe. He wants not to step on that, step on that line. He wants to be far away, so that Arsenal score a second. But it's just instinctive as a striker that you're going to try to tap home, and really you cannot blame him. But look, he did run around. But did you see him? Really. Were you really impressed with him like in the Leicester City game?
Definitely not. So let's start with the Odegaard shots. So if my striker doesn't go for that, I'd be worried. If he just stands there and be like, what, he watches it like us, like let's see if it goes in. Obviously, if it hit the post and got back to him and scored, it would have been a goal. But I would have been worried if he didn't. That's a striker's instinct; he has to go for it. But he was offside. I don't blame him much for that. I know why I blame him. You see that first goal from Saka? That ball should never have gotten to Saka. If Aubameyang controlled that ball nicely, he would have scored it by himself. He would have very, very poor touch. All he had to do is control it and shoot it, or even volley it in. There, I definitely blame him. Should never have gotten to Saka. Also, the penalty, I think that was a poor penalty. If you put it in the corner and the goalkeeper saves it, well and good. But another poor penalty, same side again, just like he did against Martinez, just like he did against Lloris against Tottenham a few years ago. He likes that side a lot, and it's predictable. Let's say it's predictable. And also, the yellow card he picked up, a bit silly. It could easily have been a red card. Like if they decide to check it, they could easily give you a red card. So Yes, he ran around. He was not as good as he was against Tottenham or Aston Villa with the one-touch passes, quick movement. So I don't think I'm not going to give him a 2 as I've seen people give him. No, I think it's going to be an average performance, 5.
5, yeah, 5.
Yeah.
Goes for a 5. If scores, he could bail himself out, but he doesn't. Mikel
Yeah.
Arteta, masterclass. He read Claudio Ranieri. He did,
Mm.
and you saw Watford really struggle to get out of their first, their plan A to at least execute a plan B, which they didn't have in the first half. Try to do some bit of plan B in the second half. I was really impressed, but I think a masterclass from Mikel again.
Yeah, starting lineup is what we'd have asked for. Maybe you are not a fan of Niall starting. Maybe you wanted El Nino or Odegaard there or someone. At night, you can't fault him. He started Niles, and Niles was the man of the match. Again, a quick start. I don't know if that comes from Arteta, but another quick start today should have been 1-0 or 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes. It's like we are practicing set pieces and because the corners and stuff. I'll give that to the goalkeeping coach out, not goalkeeping coach, the set piece coach. Also, he was getting very mad in the last 15 minutes where we were giving away balls so easily. Yeah. But we got another win, another clean sheet, 10 games unbeaten. It did not look like that after we lost to City. It was very, very desperate. Right now, it seems not to be confused. That day you're setting this one, and then tomorrow is this one. Now we have a set back four. I know Tine is going to come back. Ramsdale is set. Our midfielders are set when Partey's fit. We know it's Smith Rowe and Saka. We know it's Aubameyang and Lacazette. The only things I'd say is maybe he waited a bit too long to bring in Martinelli. I would have brought him in the 80th minute. But I don't know if you're going to rate the subs, but I think the subs, all of them did well. But yeah, I think I'm clean sheet, 1-0. Would have wanted more goals, of course. Also, I think in the last 15 minutes, he was like, you know what, we'll take the 1-0. That's why he brought in El Nene and those kind of players. So if he won the game by 2-0 or 3-0, I don't think it's his fault because we missed so many chances. I'm going to give him a 7. I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah, you give it to him. You give it to him 100 games now as Arsenal manager, and what a way to celebrate them with 10 games in all competition unbeaten. I'll give him an 8. I'm going to be a little bit generous. I'll give him that 8 because it's not his fault that the ball doesn't cross the line. He's actually it's a masterclass that he beats Claudio Ranieri and his tactics. Okay, we're just going to rush through the substitutions. Odegaard.
I think he was great. I think he, in the last 5 minutes, wasting time, absolutely good. You got denied a goal, could have been a goal. He looked very energetic after coming on. I'm actually going to give him a 6.
6 for Odegaard. Martinelli, again, just the
same, but he was very good in those 5 minutes. He won us a foul, ate a bit of seconds again. He was running. He was putting their defenders under pressure in those last 10 minutes. In those last 5 minutes, we were absolutely attacking them and pressing them, Odegaard and Martinelli. A 6 for Martinelli for 5 minutes, a 6.
Egyptian, your man, El Nene.
El Nene, he's not cute, he's not pretty with the football, but he does his job. I saw him. There's a time he tackled very important because they were trying to break on us, and he put in a very, very good challenge, and the fans were up for it. Another 6. I think the subs all did very well in the few minutes they were in. So 6 for all of them. Usually we give them standard 5s. It wasn't on for too long, but I think all of them did well. 6 for all of them.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, bro. I'll speak to you tomorrow. And I think we shall have a show tomorrow together.
No problem, man. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, man.
All right.